What's up, guys? This is Tank Game Nature Boy. Today I've got a little bit of footage here for you on Pacific Island. It is a weather variant. We're in the Batchat 25T French Tier 10 medium tank. Now, this is the type of situation where you go out here and your team is not pushing the right flank, or they're not pushing both flanks, and they just refuse to push. They consolidate, and you just don't have any eyes out there, and all you're doing is just dodging rounds all game. I mean, have you guys ever had a game like that? Because I know I have. This is one such example. And as soon as we go around the corner up here and we just peek, we are taking all kind of rounds. And what you've got to understand, guys, about these weather variants is it's very, very tricky to navigate. And I don't mean driving around per se. I mean you have to be concerned with whom can see you and who you can see, because a lot of your longer range stuff is not going to be able to see, because everything for the most part is going to be half your spotting and your signal range. But what that means is that people tend to kind of travel in packs more often than they would in your typical game. You're always going to have campers in your typical game, but in these weather variants, a lot of people have kind of adjusted their strategy to kind of moving in packs. So, when you get spotted, you're going to be taking a lot of fire instead of just a little bit of fire. So you have to be really, really cautious. And at the same time, guys, it's really good to know typically where your shooters, your tanks are going to spot, or excuse me, where they're going to set up as, because that way you can kind of plan for that in advance, if you kind of catch my drift. So yeah, you just kind of have to watch out for that. So that's one thing definitely, you have to kind of keep an eye on. Now, as far as this game goes, as you can see here, guys, we're not doing anything with either flank. We're not about that life. We're content just to kind of set up here and get farmed. Except the fellow right here in the bat is just not about that life at all. So hopefully we can go up here and get some shots. The downside is every time we move, we are spotted. Make a good little clutch shot right there. And remember, guys, anytime you're in a situation like that and you're auto-locking, the time you do that is when you are more concerned with defense than offense. Wow, we are bouncing some rounds. When you're in a situation where you would much rather put a round on somebody, or try to put a round on somebody, than take damage yourself, that's kind of when I view the auto lock to be useful. Another good time is obviously when you're putting the circle of death on someone, and you don't necessarily have a whole lot of time to aim as you're actively taking rounds. But everything's situational. Right here, guys, we've got a lightly armored tank. We just auto locked a few rounds into him. Could we have aimed? I mean, we wouldn't have wasted that last shot, but you know what? It's fine. It's not a big deal. I totally understand that sometimes in these situations I don't aim as much as I should. In other situations, I aim more than I should. Some situations I aim too much and I end up missing shots that I could have gotten pretty easily. Right here, good shot there on the side of that thin-skinned tank. And guys, if you're firing against thin-skinned tanks, I pretty much feel confident it's okay to auto-lock. That's at least my personal take on it. Okay, so moving on, guys. We're on a reload here. As you can see, it's, I don't know, their entire team versus a handful of us. And we are doing the Batchat thing of emptying our clip and getting the fudge out of there. I kind of have a good idea where the bad guys are. As far as my compadre there, he was with Tank Jesus. There was nothing I could do. If I ran in there with an empty gun, I would be dead anyway. So, I said, you know what, let's go over here, let's murder some clickers, and then, that'll be a little bit of damage, and then we get done with that, we can reload, and maybe we can possibly see some other folks we can get our murder on. So, once again there, clickers off the board there. Always a good thing. I have really, been through the ringer. And I'm not wanting to stop very much. And I had some extra rounds, And I'm that type of player where if I'm auto-locking, I'm driving too much, or I'm driving too fast, and I start to miss, I will slow down and then aim them in. in this case, I felt like I was going to dump the mag anyway. It's not necessarily I'm justifying my auto lock. I don't necessarily like to use it as much as you were seeing in this video. It was more or less out of necessity because I knew there was an entire team coming after me. And I'm just, I'm not a fan of that. Defense game, the evasion game here is on point right now. So anybody we see, we kind of have to serve right away. Take a round right there. We're going to just try to ease around the side of this gentleman. Put a shot in the side of that E5's very, very thin armor. Plow another one in there. We're going to go ahead and see if we can't get rid of this gentleman. Clip him out. Doing some barrel aiming right there, and we clip that gentleman out 100%. And that's fine. The only downside is the gun is now dry, and there's literally nothing else we can do. But we farmed the mess out of folks. And sometimes, guys, that's what you're going to have to do. 40-77, nobody on the team really pumped out any damage except us. Sometimes, guys, you got to make your own damage. Guys, please don't forget the Twitch channel is up and running. I'm going to be streaming every single day. Fonzarelli Fell Hand. Check it out.